Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Yeah, so we have at least 7 different time zones, I think, represented among the more than 100 participants who registered. So I'd like to give you a warm welcome, friends and colleagues, to our learning event uh, on the evolving models of community-centered connectivity initiatives from a project that we are completing called Model Building of Community Networks, Linked Social Enterprise and Local Economic Development. This is an initiative in partnership with the Association of Progressive Communications and supported by the Asia Pacific Network Information Center, or APNIC, with their Information Society Innovation Fund, or ISIF. And this project started in 2022, and we are winding down the project this September. And this effort to showcase the evolving models is one of the last activities of that project. No? I am Marilisa Dacanay. I'm the president of the Institute for Social Entrepreneurship in Asia, and together with the Association of Progressive Communications and APNIC Foundation, ISIF, uh, and our partners, Foundation for Architecture and Community Equity in Bangladesh, Philippine Coffee Alliance in the Philippines, Philippine Rural Reconstruction Movement, also in the Philippines, and Sources for Action in China. We would like to welcome all of you to this learning event. Addressing the digital divide is one of the major challenges as we try to pursue the Sustainable Development Goals, particularly among rural communities and marginalized communities all over Asia Pacific. And community-centered connectivity initiatives have emerged as a promising solution to bridge the digital gap. But there are concerns regarding the importance of social impact as well as sustainability. And this learning session shall be presenting these evolving models that link community-centered connectivity initiatives with social enterprises and local economic development initiatives, potentially offering a pathway to sustainability. But at the same time, this session also hopes to demonstrate the various ways that what we call meaningful connectivity, no? Hopes to be achieved in various country contexts and in various among various marginalized groups, by social enterprises and social enterprise resource institutions, so that we hope that this learning event can contribute to this whole process of connecting the unconnected and addressing the digital divide. So to officially open our learning session, may I call on Alicia Hepner, the Grants Management Lead of APNIC Foundation, to welcome you to this event. Alicia?
Thank you so much, Lisa. I really appreciate that. And welcome to you all. I really am excited to have this opportunity to listen and hear all of the conversations and development that's progressed in this area. I know I've only got a couple of minutes or moments to talk to you. And I thought that perhaps if I could share my screen, I'd like to talk to the broader group around why we really support and want to get involved in initiatives like this. So I hope that this might be possible.
We can see your screen, Alicia.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. So I want to talk to you about the foundation, the APNIC Foundation, and where we're supporting, and it's supporting partnerships for digital development, especially for those that are joining the call that perhaps haven't had the opportunity to encounter or be aware of where we would love to support. So as a foundation, we have a vision around a global, open and stable, secure internet, but that's also affordable and accessible. We really want to ensure that we're supporting and increasing development in the Asia Pacific region is where we're predominantly supporting through education, training and capacity building. So we're looking for projects and initiatives that can support and share that vision and really work on that digital development. The ISIF fund is an Information Society Innovation Fund, and I might mention it a bit later around funding opportunities for those on the call. That's been active since 2008, prior to even our foundation being established. We have been supporting grants that are focused on infrastructure, inclusion, and knowledge in the area of really grasping and understanding that foundational infrastructure piece, which is reaching the middle mile and the last mile, making sure that we've got access, or people, individuals and economies have access to, and affordable access to be able to be participating in the internet and what it has to offer. And this year we've got another 21 new grantees, and we've had 9 additional awardees that are really supporting in the region. I wanted to talk, I mean, these are only a few initiatives, but I really wanted to talk about the fact that we are trying to work on supporting collective efforts towards networking and community networks. And some of the interesting innovations that we like to look at focusing on is that everybody has a unique way of addressing their own issues and with their own contextual complexities. And so we don't see it as being one, you know, a one fit for all model. We understand that every area has a unique opportunity and has their own unique solutions they want to bring to the table. We really want to indulge and raise those voices and be able to have them then showcased in opportunities like this of sharing of like collective learnings. And I'll share this presentation later because there are some links there that you can take to our page of different initiatives that have been happening in the region. And these are only a very select few. What we know is that network connectivity is a challenge, and it's a challenge for those very remote and or rural and or distant locations, especially with a lot of our providers. That where the focus is on for-profit enterprises or profit-making solutions. But we also recognize that power is essential as well. The internet can't work off of that, you know, the connectivity alone, and there's challenges with that and the bigger players, and that we also need to have people that are solving very complex problems. And what we also understand is that infrastructure apps, they're always evolving, but at the same time, gaps are remaining, and in some cases widening. You know, we've got new digital divides that continue to emerge, and we can't, you know, we can't solve them all, but what we can do is support initiatives that are trying to raise these complex issues to the forefront and have that dialogue. So we've got multiple dimensions of issues, and we understand though that infrastructure to support connectivity really is one of those essential rights of capabilities that will help individuals to be able to look at different ways and participate in community in a variety of different ways, but also be able to try and help close that gap. But we still have to be cognizant of the fact that there's varying degrees of capability, digital literacy, understanding information that's portrayed on those platforms and applications that are used, and how do we make people safe and secure when they're accessing those. But what we do know is when we can provide those solutions or support organizations that are providing those solutions, that people can have the ability to participate and have social impact and social good through those development issues. So we understand that as we try and organizations and people like yourselves that are trying to constantly solve these old problems now, or are they new? You know, there's always going to be new ones that emerge through the opportunity, and or maybe the opportunity lost if we don't keep on supporting organizations and individuals and communities to be able to try and bridge these gaps. And there's always new and emerging issues that we are looking to support and be able to understand. And so we're really pleased to be part of and support ISEA and the work that they're doing in really raising these issues about how that looks in respective contexts. The last little bit of my welcome is to share with you that there are foundations, there are opportunities out there for organisations that are supporting and really understanding that there is a digital divide, there's digital complexities, infrastructure complexities. We are willing and welcoming. We have, especially I've got a portfolio with the ISIF Asia grants, where we do look at offering once a year opportunities for people to apply for their innovation in their context, in their community, to try and close that digital divide and really support infrastructure, inclusion and knowledge in the fundamentals of being able to operate the lights of the internet, with acknowledging the individual complexities. So, you know, we're there trying to support where possible those kind of innovations, and very pleased to be here today. So I'll share this afterwards, but for those of you, after listening to ISEA, Lisa and the team about what the work that they're doing and what they're trying to share, the learnings, you know, we have a really big push for all projects that we support that will share their learnings, so that others either can take the opportunity of you know, misfortunes, if we should call it that, to, you know, maybe not make those, you know, kind of you know, errors of investment that didn't, you know, come to fruition, but learn from also that to be able to then go and build on those, you know, those initiatives and look at those building blocks and look at what is really relevant for the complexity of your individual circumstances. And we would always love to hear from you when the time comes around that. So I just wanted to really thank ISEA, Lisa and the team, and your partnerships that you've been working with across those key regions. And I really hope that this couple of hours is going to be really fortuitous to share those insights, the learnings. It's one of those amazing things. The work you guys have been doing is just absolutely amazing. Apologize for my dogs barking in the background. But I really appreciate the work and the investment, the hard yards that you've done to be able to share some of your insights today, and have this collective group be able to share that as well. So thank you for letting me have that moment, and I really welcome and wish you all the best for the next couple of hours.
Thank you, Alicia. Thank you very much. And for those of us in the audience who are wanting to get engaged in the setting up of community networks or community-centered connectivity initiatives in the various areas that Alicia explained, please do get in touch with APNIC Foundation, ISIF, or even through us. No, we can actually help to share how we did it, so that you can also access the funding coming from ISIF. So thank you, Alicia. And before we go to our forum proper, I would like to ask everyone to open your mics, to open your sound, not your mics, to open your videos and to show your, let's have a picture taking for this historic moment of sharing. So I think Buds will be facilitating the process of taking pictures, right? So we have over 60 people in the room. So Buds, take it away.
Okay, while waiting for others to open their cameras, we have 3 pages, so please bear with us. Keep on smiling for how many seconds? Okay, so let's go at the first page, everyone. Smile, everyone. 1, 2, 3. Okay, next page. We are seeing a lot of smiles now. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Smile. Some are in transit, huh? Okay, last page. 1, 2, 3, and smile. Okay, thank you, everyone. Mom, your mic is off.
Okay, sorry. We can now move to our forum proper. And as I shared with you, there are 4 models that are evolving on community-centered connectivity initiatives linked to social enterprise and local economic development. And in 3 different sub-regions, no? One in Bangladesh, another in China, and another, 2 in the Philippines, yeah? So it's Southeast Asia, East Asia, and South Asia. So I'd like to now call on Foundation for Architecture and Community Equity, or FACE. And for this presentation, I'd like to first call on Marina Tabassum, the CEO of FACE, and a leading architect in Bangladesh, who will say a few words on why they partnered with this project. And she will be passing on the mic to Suhaili Farzana, who will continue on sharing their initiative on model building of community networks linked to social enterprise and local economic development in Bangladesh, and is in a specific crafts value chain context. Go ahead, Marina.
Thank you, Marie. Thank you, and hello, everyone. Nice to be in this session. There's a lot to learn today. I will just very quickly share a screen to show some of our, why we entered into this whole project. So Foundation for Architecture and Community Equity, as the name suggests, we are a bunch of architects who are working with marginalized communities, especially focusing on displacement. And in Bangladesh, as you know, there are various forms of displacement. One is within the country where people are being displaced. And so we work with them. We are providing housing, being architects. And then when we were working with housing projects, we realized that a lot of the focus should be on livelihood because people really suffer from that. And so all our works, one of the work which is sort of to give a background to what we've done with the community networking is actually a project that came up in the southern part of Bangladesh. So if you see the map here, Cox's Bazar is a city that is hosting 1 million Rohingyas who fled from the Rakhine state in Myanmar, and basically coming here to flee or escape prosecution and death. So we've had them since 2017. So if you see, this is the map of all the refugees who are living in a place called Kutupalong, and there are, as I mentioned, 1 million and more. Increasing. So if you see, look at the land. So 2002, you see this used to be a forest land, and people generally living in these areas were very much into farming and different kind of livelihood. But when in 2017, we had the exodus of these refugees coming in, these forest land was completely cut down, deforested to make space for the refugees to come and settle. And these are some of the images that shows. And what happened during this process, well, some of our work is also about reforestation, and we are reforesting some of these areas, taking in, working with very different forms of natural way of healing the earth in many ways. But some of our projects also is about working with the refugees and working with the local community. So we are focusing more on the local communities. So when the refugees came in, many of the local communities got displaced, and their livelihood suffered because of that reason. So much of our work was about finding ways of livelihood. And this was a project where we actually partnered with a World Food Program, and we developed some spaces which we call aggregation centers or hubs, where women farmers who were, trained to grow different kind of vegetables in their own backyard, and the women farmers actually bring their fresh produce and sell in these centers. And when we were doing this, we saw that there was a lot of necessity for livelihood. Women have a lot of different skills that they are willing to explore to find some form of economic generation. And so, we worked with Prokriti. So Prokriti is a fair trade organization who are working with about 5,000 women all around Bangladesh. So Prokriti is also one of the largest fair trade exporters from Bangladesh to all different parts of the world. So they work with women mostly, and they actually focus on the livelihood and ensuring sort of economic freedom to women. So Prokriti was linked to the women who are displaced because of the presence of the refugee, and they were suffering from their livelihood. So, so Prokriti's designer team was working with the local women to find ways of creating new products. And what happened is these areas are so remote, and there was hardly any way of communicating between the designers and the artisanal communities. That's when Prokriti actually needed to have a sort of a networking system. And from that, basically this entire project came about. So Prokriti was more interested in creating a communication between the artisans and themselves. And so through our work, which Sohaili will present, we actually focused on that issue and how women from these communities, which are quite far and hard to reach, physically hard to reach places, women from there could also connect with the designers and get the projects done. So in a way to help them with their livelihood. So I'll give it to Sohaili. I'll stop sharing, and then Sohaili can explain to you how we went about doing this project. Thank you.
Thank you, Marina. I hope you can see my screen. Yeah. So thank you, Marina, for setting the context. It was good to listen. And so for this project, we wanted to work with 4 artisan communities, like 100 participants in 4 communities. And so what we wanted to do, we wanted to do establish a community-based, community-owned social enterprise, of course, with the connecting these communities through the network setup, because they had the skill, but we improvised with Prokriti, we improvised their skill into the marketable products and take it to the market. So we searched, it was quite hard to reach physically actually. So we searched quite a lot of communities we visited, we documented their skills, and we started from 8 communities actually, and we documented their skills. And then we had the selection parameter, like who were interested to build a saving group, because with saving you can have a good group to work with, and who are willing to do their own cooperative business. Then from there we could select like 4 communities, and then we started with need assessment. So these are the 4 communities: Shonarpara, Hatirgona, Foliapara, and Balukhali. And 2 of the, I will show the location actually. So yeah, here you see Shonarpara here, and 1 community is here. These are far from the Rohingya camp. The refugee camp is the red mark area, and both of the Foliapara and Balukhali, both of this community are very near to the refugee camp. And near the refugee camp, there are a lot of restrictions from the government, like you can't build any new tower, you can have make it available, the access to the internet so much. So we had a little bit of challenge, and one of the communities was actually in the valley. So it was another challenge while we were working with the community networking. So we started with the community mapping, where the community mapped their own community, and they started to they assess the need, and they started to map out like what skills they have. And we started with knowing the place and the people. And our team is consists of the IT person. You see, the one professor of the university, he's worked with us. Then the designers and the designers from the Prokiti, and also from the community architects. So this is the team, and we started to know people, and we also started to explore the materials, what they have in that area. So we found Erica palm is abundance of Erica palm, and people are like throwing it away, not using it. So this is one finding, and another is the plastic, the abundance of plastics, one-time use plastic. It's hampering the environment. And we started to know there are other skills as well. There's quilt sewing and making stools and hand fans. And with the available material, we started working with them, firstly with the developing the products. Because while we started, wanted to set up a network, the community said, if we don't have a cash flow, we don't want the internet, which is very logical. So we started to, from the very deep, we started to co-develop products with them, and with lots of patience and practice. I think for like half of the year, we just explored like the products, marketable products, and they learn to do the costing of their products, procure the materials, and where they can find the raw materials from the market. And while we were doing this, we also searched for other funds. So there was one entity from ID Bangladesh, which really helped us to work on the developing the products. And we were also doing the backward linkage and forward linkage for the social enterprise with the community. And as an outcome, we actually did not just set up the network, because a lot of things were needed to be done before that. So one is the product development, and also since we are architects, we believe in visuals. So we started creating a lot of booklets. So one booklet is like for the sample products. Then we also generated is a standard operating producer for many manufacturing, and we all did it visually, because often people are not highly literate, so it's easy when they see the photographs or the sketches. And we also developed some training modules. So within this community network project, we actually call it process. So we did a lot of training with Prakriti, and also we did loom training and quality control. And also because Erica palm was quite new for them to work with. They worked with different things, but Erica palm was quite new. So they explored the material and the techniques of building it. And since there were a lot of plastics, as I show you, so there we use the loom for wrappers, if you can make a bag or panels or like this. So we explored this as well. And with the polythene, they started to weave the baskets. Then we played with the color, and we designed all of this. And amazingly, within this time, because the group were quite strong, they wanted to establish their own social enterprise, and it went to the market. So Prakriti was a good support, because they are already linked with the market. And lots of basket actually went in the market. And also they produced like the runner and placemat, and also handpan. So in a way, we were also preserving our traditional cultures through this process. So you have the products, it's going to the market now, the community networking part. So they were eager then, like, because the communication is a great challenge, and it was taking so much time. So the internet connectivity came at that point, and it became very logical to have an internet connectivity to talk with the designer, to quality control, and very quick design improvisation. And we did set up the community network, but with the process, whenever we work with the community. So actually a lot had to do before we set up the community network. We had to train them on the technology, what is a tab and what is a router. So few of them actually knew, but many of them was very new about that. So they actually draw the how the network is coming and to their houses. So these are the workshops while in the first piloting community. And then we could actually connect with the remotely, you see Marinapa there, so through WhatsApp. So lots of trainings went by. And for us, we didn't need to build a new tower because I'll just go very quickly because these are the, if you see, these are the signals of two communities. So the main road has the good signals, and if you have a tower, you have a good signal. So both of the communities were good, and two of these actually struggled because they were near the camp and also away from the main road. So the green is a very good and red is not very good signal. But still we could explore different operators and do that. So we use the existing structure government has, and we use it. So this is the network architecture diagram. So we took the internet from the existing tower with a 4G Wi-Fi router, and also there is a great challenge of the electricity. So we also facilitated with the mini UPS, and we also thought it's good to have a pocket Wi-Fi. So they have also this facility, and then the tablet. So through this, they can actually, and this is the thing we did in 4 of the communities. It's likewise. So yeah, each community was given like facilitated with one tab, one router, one power bank, and a keyboard and a speaker. We see a lot of social impact after the internet connectivity because these 4 communities started to network among themselves. You know, they would call and they would know what you were doing and how is your the products are going on. So there are a lot of exchange in the communities, and we also realized this tabs and the things, we were keeping it in the leader's house, so it was not safe. And we felt that we should have they should have a common space where they can use as a production center, and also we can keep it safe. So we were also searching for other funds. So we applied for Barryville Award, and we were honorable mention with that. And very quickly we could, with the community's help, we could build one very small temporary structure for their production. So this is one structure very locally built with local technology, and the local masons helped us. We actually did it together. We built a pavilion and exhibited the products, and with this space, like many started to attract. Many organizations came here, many markets came here to procure from this. And they could, through this process, they could actually produce a mass production for export fair as well, and sell it to property. And also, since they were very energetic, and Marinapa studio, like from the Yale University, they also visited the spaces and worked with them. And very interestingly, whom we trained for the products, they actually someday they become the trainers. So they started training other communities how to build to create a basket. And we also had the learning exchange in the Philippines, which was very empowering for the team as well. And their products also came to the capital in Dhaka, in Institute of Architects Bangladesh Expo in Dhaka. So they got another exposure here. So from the community producers to the designers there. So he's the designer of Prokriti. So it took a lot of process to do that. And if I show you the their income, it actually multiplied. If you see this figure, like before they used to earn like 275 USD, and it increased after the network setup. And for the another community, it's same. It multiplied twice, thrice, 7 times actually. So, so we wanted to create a community-based micro enterprises, which are the communities, And there are a lot of major enterprises who actually support them, like Prokriti, like REEC, like Shushilon, local government, and also FACE. So community holds the power here. And I just want to include this point, like we worked with one trained community who were working with other organizations, and one was very new. So in sustenance, if you see from the lens of sustenance, the community who were new, who were groomed by FACE, I think we think it's the self-sustained in the future, but for the other organizations, it might not. We are not sure about that. And the dependency is it's the independent community like Hatirpona, they can, because they have more freedom than the other one. So once people understand this social enterprise and their benefit of the community, meaningful community networks, I think they can sustain along. And the new communities, they can become a major organization if they keep continuing. So I want to conclude with these remarks, like through this process of this wonderful project of community network, we actually vision for building stronger communities through community networking. And this can ensure better sustainability, because even if FACE is not there, if we could train the women, the cooperatives, they can actually carry it on because the devices are with them. Now they can actually run their social enterprise. So thank you for your patience, and thank you.
Thank you, Suhaili. And that was our presentation from Bangladesh. And we can see that it was engaging Rohingya communities, right? And also engaging new crafts communities to be developed, I think, to be engaged with the designers and the value chain players, including fair trade organizations and other markets and intermediary marketing associations, so that connectivity became a means, for that to be more effectively pursued, right? So we now go to our second, thank you, Suhaili and Marina. We now go to our second presentation. Our next presentation is from the Philippines. I'd like to call on Carla Santos of the Philippine Rural Reconstruction Movement to show us their community-centered connectivity initiative partnered with a social enterprise working on organic vegetable value chains. Yeah. So Carla.
Yeah, thank you, Lisa, and hello to everyone. I'm Carla from the Philippines. The organization I'm representing and which implemented this pilot project in the Philippines is the Philippine Rural Reconstruction Movement, or PRRM. Largely, it works with rural areas to improve education, livelihood, health, and self-governance and ecological sustainability. So our pilot project will be about digital networking, enabling organic and sustainable agriculture for smallholder farmers in the Philippines. In the Philippines, smallholder farmers means those having 3 hectares and less, and smaller land areas. So let me take you through, that picture is one of the villages in the area, the project site in the north of the Philippines. As you can see in this map, the red spot is the province of Nueva Vizcaya, and in Nueva Vizcaya, the town of Cayapa is where we piloted this community network project. In Cayapa, PRRM has
Carla, could you make your yeah, that's better.
Yeah,
Thank you.
okay. Sorry. In Cayapa, town of Nueva Vizcaya, PRM has been partners with at least 2 social enterprises, as listed in this slide. One is the Vizcaya Fresh Incorporated, or VFI, and the Upland Farmer members of, this is the second enterprise, the Cayapa Organic Producers Association. So both organizations are engaged in organic production and marketing. To give you a physical description, the VFI, which is a trading organization, travels over 70 kilometers, or approximately 2 hours, from its trading post in the provincial capital to Cayapa town, where they source the organic produce. Communications are not that reliable, so production and marketing data are not real time, especially so that they are still feeling the effects from setbacks due to pandemic restrictions during the 2-year period of 2020 to 2021. Um, so Vizcaya Fresh has been engaged in organic production and marketing of organic upland vegetables, fruits, root crops, livestock, herbs in the last 10 years. It is partnering with over 100 farmers, and they have market outlets in the province, in adjacent provinces, as well as in Metro Manila, which is the capital of the Philippines. They are recognized, awarded, and certified by the Department of Agriculture and also by the Participatory Guarantee System, or PGS Pilipinas, which is a third-party certification system that has been recognized by law in the Philippines. Vizcaya Fresh also has been granted a 3-hectare farm, organic farm in Nueva Vizcaya, and that's where they model the organic production technologies and where they plan to train more organic farmers. The second enterprise is COPA, or the Cayapa Organic Producers Association, which is based in Cayapa, of course, and they are the main partner of Vizcaya Fresh. The farmers of Copa are grouped into clusters based on the types of crops they produce. So it's rice, vegetables, fruits, root crops, even mushrooms and spices. They sell directly. Most of their produce are sold directly to Vizcaya Fresh and to local consumers. And in partnership with VFI, they undergo training and they receive technical assistance for the members. And even other farmers who are not their members, but who they plan to recruit in the future as organic farmers. Now, the challenge, especially in Cayapa Town, which is an upland, remote, and indigenous community in the province, is that there are connectivity gaps. In fact, 9 of 30 villages or barangays have no access to internet. They have limited use of and benefits from internet access. They mostly use Facebook on their Android phones. No tablets, no laptops, very few. Desktops are used by organizations like COPA and only one unit. So the communication between Vizcaya Fresh and COPA, especially for marketing their organic crops at certain times or days of the year, is usually through SMS or phone calls, which are weak and unreliable. So to support their operations through internet, improved internet connectivity, hopes to also improve the efficiency and effectivity of the operations of both Vizcaya Fresh and COPA. Okay. Um, from several community consultations, community meetings, we made a comparative analysis of the available internet systems in the province. So the matrix you can see compares cellular router based, fiber optics based, and Starlink in terms of these different factors on the left side on the first column. And we found out that the Starlink as infrastructure will provide more benefits in the long run. We've So that's the first of the 6 elements of the model building initiative that ISEA, FACE, and Sources for Action China and PRM have undertaken. So that's part of the technical element. The one we used, or the internet infrastructure we used, uses unlicensed spectrum of 2.4 and 5 gigahertz distributed through wireless mesh access point. We used a MikroTik router connected to a Starlink internet router. In the map on the left, we set up 3 Starlink systems in 2 villages, and 1 in Bayombong, the star at the lowest portion. Connections are near the line of sight, especially as Cayapa Town is a very mountainous area. So obstructions by trees and mountains are present. So this is the setup. The cluster network diagram is on the upper left. That's a Starlink dish connected to the MikroTik, Starlink and MikroTik routers, and then to the distribution access points. If you will note, at the bottom is a box called Piso Wi-Fi business. So it's similar to it's like a retailing business that the COPA especially has undertaken. And at the lower right are the three clusters where such setups have been put up. The lowermost box in Bayombong, that's the Starlink setup in the provincial capital. That's for Vizcaya Fresh to also have access to. Also part of the technical element, the network will utilize online Google Cloud services. The network operation centers are black boxes, as will be shown later. And these have been located or installed in a house and in a copa, in a trading post of the Kayapa farmers. The towers are mounted atop a house and a village hall. There's a piece of Wi-Fi vendor station, as I mentioned, and it has been installed in one cluster. The income from the piso Wi-Fi operations help sustain the payment of the monthly internet fees to Starlink. Very ably assisting us were local technical consultants who provided us with the technical support and with also assistance to install all these hardware and infrastructure. As you can see here in these photos. Very scenic Kayapa. And these are the hardware that were installed. The picture on the left shows one of the black boxes which were installed in the office of Vizcaya Fresh. So the second element of the model building initiative is on organization, people, and partnerships. Of course, we have ISEA and the APNIC Foundation as partners in this model building. Of course, not to mention the Kayapa farmers and Vizcaya Fresh. We also made sure we connected with the local government units, the chief executives, and we were also assisted by the municipal agricultural technicians and the barangay chairpersons, also the local consultants, the Department of Agriculture, and one of our partners, although indirectly at this point, but more directly in the future, is the local Nueva Vizcaya State University. Yeah. In the future, in the next months or years, we have more to engage, like especially for marketing and networking, the institutional buyers of organic products, trade fair organizers, and the local participatory guarantee system in the province. Also, other government departments, more local government units. The Philippines has a National Organic Agriculture Board, which we can also tap into for more technical support and networking and probably even funds. Speaking of funds, PRM is also partners with the Lagawe Highlands Rural Bank, which is a bank in the nearby province of Ifugao, very near to Nueva Vizcaya. And other partners as well for policy support, like the Department of Agriculture, Agricultural Credit Policy Council. These are more for the operations, for the organic operations of Vizcaya Fresh and Kayapa farmers. The third element of the model building initiative is on the legal and regulatory framework. The workshop we had last November of last year, provided us with this LockNet matrix or profiling, and we learned a lot from this. The LockNet profile made us describe six parameters. The first is on operator licensing, as you can see. I will not go into detail, but the six parameters are on operator licensing. There's not much operational framework for last mile service delivery. The second is access to backhaul. The third is license exempt spectrum. All of these have impact on the community network in Kayapa. The fourth is on the investment ecosystem. There are cases of public-private partnerships, but very much, I think, about the commercial or via the commercial telco companies in the Philippines. The fifth element is on capacity building for professionalization. In fact, this has direct impact in the Kayapa initiative because there are local youth and local technicians who reside in Kayapa who can be further trained to operate the system and even expand or widen the reach and replication of this model of the pilot. And the sixth part of the LockNet matrix is on gender. And here also has a direct impact on Kayapa. Most of the Kayapa organic farmers are women, and those who are very actively engaging in this pilot project are the women farmer members, also the youth, uh, girls, and young women. The fourth element of the model building initiative is on financial, so as to ensure that the model or the pilot becomes sustainable. We looked at the sources and uses of the funds, especially from the project grant. We looked at the costs for the first few months or to the third quarter, maybe of the first year of last year. The costs were much related to the maintenance, to allowances, to meetings, and to monthly subscription, especially at the latter part when the Starlink systems were already installed. The costs and investments to reach sustainability, especially for the Kayapa farmers, are investments in gadgets because most of them will just have smartphones, but this will be enough. But for organizational use, maybe they should have a tablet or more computer units. Also for subscription fees, for software development if necessary, or even for subscription to software applications, accreditation and licensing, for more of further capacity building for especially for the Kayapa farmers and other organic farmers outside of Kayapa, and in product development and improvement of their services, both as Kayapa farmers and as Vizcaya Fresh, the trading organization. We also looked into the income streams. As I said earlier, the installed network in Kayapa has netted, has gained some income from its retailing services from the Piso Wi-Fi services. In fact, they earned, in 1 month, they earned around $150, but it's now decreasing, but we'll see in the next few months as the classes of schools become more regular. The is this the fifth element of the model building initiative is on social and economic impact. There has been an observable change in the behavior and increased collective interest of COPA farmer members, especially, as I said earlier, by the women in the digital transformation of their social enterprise. And not only their social enterprise, but also for domestic and school-related purposes that their families can benefit from. There's also broadening of their internet awareness, as I said, for personal business purposes. In fact, one local youth wants to do more posting on social media to promote her organic production business. There's not yet much economic impact that can be seen since the community network infrastructure was set up in the latter months of the project term. But this is what we envision, or we are starting to develop. It's a sample tool where members, the farmer members, can upload their production data uh, in terms of the hectareage, the type of crop, the expected date of harvest, and any other services they may need, like transportation or tech training support. If you can look at the bottom part of this matrix, the social and economic benefits may come from possible availment of discounts if they market on a bulk basis, or potential savings on transportation if there is collective harvesting and collective marketing, so that Vizcaya Fresh doesn't travel the 2-hour distance just to get a few kilos of vegetables. And another potential benefit is information sharing for better preparation by members, which is in fact happening now already. The sixth, but I think one of the most important elements of the model building initiative is a synergy and sustainability strategy. We wish to collaborate more and sustain collaboration with the local academe, government agencies, local businesses, and civil society networks that are present in the province and even in a nationwide network in the sectors of organic agriculture, social enterprise development, and our sector, rural revitalization. Uh, the role of support organizations such as PRM also will be very important to sustain the community network model and even to expand, replicate it in other areas. And the last bullet, optimizing the community network initiative as disaster preparedness and response mechanism, especially in the agriculture sector. And this has been raised by the Vizcaya Fresh enterprise. Some challenges and lessons. It was a very high learning curve for us. But the materials of APC, as written in the second bullet, of APC and the Internet Society were very, very useful for us as we read through them and picked up some pointers and tips. Further capacity building will be needed for support organizations like Vizcaya Fresh to facilitate community processes. It's not simply building or installing the hardware, but it's really more facilitating the community processes like what FACE has and Architect Suhaili has related to us earlier. Another lesson is to ensure digital literacy and ethics. Kayapa is an upland indigenous community, and the Philippines has a law on protecting and defending indigenous people's rights. So any projects have to ensure that their rights are protected and promoted. There's also capacity building needs for social enterprise managers like in Vizcaya Fresh, local technicians, and the community youth on operating and maintaining the system, use of online applications, and for cyber security. We use this term, with this phrase for just and safe transition. Another lesson is actually a very interesting gain that we can build on is local youth participation, youth who can assist their not yet techie parents and elders, who can help operate and maintain the hardware and the software of the internet setup, and to transition the responsibility of maintaining the network. As of now, the local consultants are still very much involved in supporting us in monitoring the network, but we would like that the local youth and or the local farmers be able to operate the system fully. And then broadening and sustaining social networks. The Kayapa experience is not just about improving internet connectivity. It's also about promoting organic food production and in the longer term, food security and rural revitalization in general. So we would like to expand our networks in the organic agriculture sector at both local and national levels with research and academic institutions and more technical experts, and community network initiatives elsewhere in the Philippines and in the Asia Pacific region. And that's where I end my presentation. Maraming salamat from all and with all the women farmer members of Kayapa. Thank you.
Thank you, Kai. We have seen how digital transformation is being facilitated by what the Internet Connectivity Initiative has brought to PRRM and its partner in Kayapa, both in terms of the social enterprise level and with the farmers, the women and men farmers, as well as the youth in Kayapa. And you can see that in both cases, we have active social enterprises leading the value chain of organic agriculture or organic vegetables in this case, yeah. But also in the case of Bangladesh, visited our community connect. We actually visited our community connectivity initiative, the community connectivity initiative we supported in China, and with us to share the experience of using of developing meaningful connectivity in China in a very different country context that she will be explaining with us is Zhang Lanying, the founder and head of the Sources for Action, our partner in China. Go ahead, Lanying.
Okay, thanks, Lisa. And good afternoon, everyone. And I'm really happy to have this session to exchange experience and learn from you. And thanks for ISEA for this platform, which we are able to connect the other countries and jointly to do the community network projects, which we see the diversity and differences. And now I just share our China experience and for the community network through social enterprise development with digital support. And first, let me briefly introduce our organizations. So we're positioning ourselves as a action research and educational institution, aiming to build an innovative learning and exchange platform, partnering with rural communities and youth practitioners for their continuous self-improvement and innovative action through social enterprise development for rural revitalization. Our core values reflect on our respect to diverse cultures, seeking origin of source from our humanity, exploring the truth of reality to build a strong sense of social responsibility with broader international perspectives. Built on these core values, we aim to jointly build a strong learning and exchange platform with youth practitioners and communities through deepening our understanding the meaning of ecological wisdom and cultural heritage for sustainable living and presence, and further to take innovative local actions for sustainability of humanity in the future. And for doing this project, actually, we are thinking, what can we do based on the situation in China for community connectivity and network? What are the needs of rural communities for connectivity and network? What have we done for yeah?
Can we take care of sharing the screen?
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Can you take it because it's not the slides are not moving. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Okay.
There you go.
So I will stop the sharing. You can do it, right?
Okay.
Can you see my screen now?
Yeah. Okay, let's go to the second slide for sharing today. And the third question is that we'll share what we have done for the CCN, what model have been experimenting at this moment, and what will we do in the future considering the challenges and lessons learned or experienced so far. So first, let me give the background, because in China by 2021, and China has already been achieved eliminating of absolute poverty. And one aspect for connection for rural areas is 5 services provided. One is road, and the other is water, and third is electricity. Fourth is transportation, And fifth is communication. So if you look at the picture, this is in a very remote with bordering other countries. And you can see the electricity poles. You can see the road connect with the villager and field. And the water, of course, there's an irrigation already in place, but most importantly, drinking water for the households and transportation with all sorts of buses and trains and communication, so internet already being in place in most of the places in China. So if we look at that, the internet connectivity has been done by the national companies, mainly by China Mobile, China Unicom, and China Telecom technology companies. And the service has been provided by different big internet companies, cooperates, but they should get certificate from the Ministry of Telecommunications as well as Ministry of Commerce for the business. So in this infrastructure in place, and people in China, even in the remote mountainous areas, they can already access to internet services. So you can say most people, even in the ethnic groups, they have their translation device. They can use internet for socializing. And I experienced one of the Dong ethnic communities, they doing singing through the WeChat. And they also do shopping online. In most rural areas, they also they are selling, marketing their products through the internet. So all this has been quite conducive for the business operations or agricultural marketing. But we also realize that the people's culture and history has to be given more attention because materials life has been improved drastically. But we hope that the attention given to the culture and history to enhance people's understanding about farming communities who carry the traditional knowledge and our cultural heritage more than thousands of years, so that urban people could really understand the farming, agriculture, the importance of the maintaining the farming and to realize the importance of rural revitalization. So build on this, our project aiming that by connecting people and communities, we can facilitate the connections of geographically, historically, and environmental, can reduce the geographically, historical, and environmental divide, but build the confidence and strong identity of ethnic groups or traditional village, which can enforce and support them to improve the general goal of food safety and healthy environment for quality of life. And to achieving this, we focus on young people. Hopefully, they can participate in an application based on dialogue between producers and consumers, understanding current farming civilization trends and prospects, participate in the process of systematic transformation and innovation of food farming culture, and become a force to protect agricultural biodiversity and carry over the traditional culture. So with these ideas, we hope that we can experiment through 2 villages in an ethnic Dong and Miao village to generate understanding based on the traditional knowledge and local knowledge and their cultural practice to be able to support the community development as well as educational purpose for the outsiders. And looking at these 2 communities' needs and strengths, we say that it's really need to have a documentation about cultural conservation. To realize the cultural, to achieve the cultural conservation and revitalization. And because of the digital technology, people still using a lot of device for communication, but we also say the connectivity reviews our people-to-people's relationship, and also caring about the people, marginalized group, and the community level, for example, the elderly, the children, and the women. And we see the availability of digital technology in rural areas. So looking at the needs and situation in the rural areas, we see also there's a strong will from the communities to document their knowledge. So there are strong community initiatives to video, to write about their farming culture, their festivals, etc. And there's also, we hope that apply the social enterprise as a tool and building the partnership with the communities, apply the digital technology to achieve our purposes to conserve the culture, but also achieve sustainable economy, local economy by our intervention. So with these ideas, we look at the models of community networks. So we establish a WeThink-based knowledge platform called the Origin of Food Talks. And this is a knowledge sharing platform to present ecological and cultural wisdom of rural communities through their food system and their cultural practice to the public audience with this platform. But at the same time, we hope that the social enterprise and rural communities can establish through a BNB as its hub to link villages to document and manage their cultural, ecological, and social practices and transform to educational tourist products. But social and urban youth, they can be volunteers to participate to support rural and urban linkage, as well as to practice sustainable living through learning rural communities' culture and ecological practice. So this is a different player to play different functions to achieve for the more community network within which reflect the community, rural community itself, but communities in rural and community in urban setting. And youth will play a bridging role. So here is the players, which I said, Original of Food Talks is the nonprofit organization as SFA to support to establish. And youth return to the rural areas who live in the village can play a role to establish the community-based social enterprise through the Airbnb as its hub, which can link with the community, rural communities, and support the rural communities together to document, to generate their, document their knowledge and practices. Rural youth play the linkage or bridging, linking urban and rural, but also for self-continuous improvement. So the business mode is that this Original Food Talk can be a social enterprise as an intermediate role to bridging the urban and rural by learning, experiencing the rural culture and practices of their life. And the community social enterprise could translate their ecological, cultural practices into educational materials and can serve as a kind of tourism products for the outsiders, and youth involved to support to facilitate this process. So based on these ideas and models and what we have done, so first we developed the WeThink-based apps, which is knowledge sharing apps. And we also established a touch screen displayed machine, which is knowledge database for the villages. And the original of Food Talks is a small apps on WeChat, which aims to build a network to connect rural and urban people, as well as among rural communities based on exchange their food culture. This app is mainly composed of 3 parts. Social local food, its production processes, and secondly, information of community-based organized cultural educational tours, and personal third is the urban and rural people who experienced in the local culture and who share their feelings and thoughts, basically the youth and different people. So this knowledge platform can able to work with all stakeholders, especially youth, jointly to document and promote live ecological wisdom and cultural heritage and cultural-based rural communities. By this approach, these rural communities can be connected further to revive their traditional culture and being seen widely by urban people, their life philosophy and wisdoms reflected with their common lives, their practicing cultures and local knowledge. So here is the apps we established. The left side is a food related culture. So farmers, communities, and can document their farming practice based on different seasons, what activities they do, and their local special species and local prepared food they can upload. So we provide training for the community people, especially the rural youth, to learn how to document and upload to this. So by this project, we produced different knowledge notes with the rural youth and also some videos uploaded to these places. And second is the events. For example, our partner Meido Village is going to organize traditional songs competition or contest on October 2 to 5. So they invite different villages to join, have a festival and singing, sharing. So they will post here on the events. And third part, the yellow part is the knowledge sharing notes. Whoever went to the village or the village people would like to share their notes, their documented activities here. And here some of the samples of different products from different village. And so far we have already 35 farmers can upload their own products and promote their organic farming or the way of preparing their food. And then we have a database machine, database managed by villages, which is touch screen displayed machine. So this aims to emphasize that the local knowledge should be managed by the local people, and we open the space for them to upload, to view. Any visitors can view, but the villagers will decide which they want to upload to our original of Food Talks to open to the public audience, or they just want to maintain at the village level for their own use. So here on the right side are all the folders, some materials produced by the villagers themselves. So the relationship between the database and the village and our apps, original of Food Talks, is that the original of Food Talks supported by SFA is aiming to be a window for the outsiders audience to learn about the traditional village, and maybe later on can also join some activities organized by the villagers themselves. So it's a window for knowledge sharing. But for the village database, is all contains open to the public information, but also some information the villagers feel that they still wants to keep for themselves or is not ready to share with the public. So it stored in the machine, displayed machine, and the information, public information related to the women's, children, and farming are decided by the villagers themselves if they want to upload it to the origin of the food talks. But if it's not, well, maintained in the village level. Yeah, that's the system, supporting each other system. So, so as I said, knowledge, we produce different videos and knowledge notes, and we also establish these apps. But this is the first phase of experimenting this kind of model. We also think that we also facing some challenges for the future, further pursuing the future activities. So the challenge at first is the sustainability. One is that how to sustain the community-based social enterprise. So far, they have Airbnb as a hub for the tourist educational program, but we hope that there's a continuity of the visitors for the community social enterprise. And so more materials, this is linked to the content creation for what outsiders to understand their culture and tradition, so attract more people to participate in their educational programs. The other one is our knowledge of original food talks, the apps, sustainability. So how to maintain it and make it alive. So content creation also important. So capacity for use and kind of a mobilization for different stakeholders to participate of producing content for this apps is also a challenge. And for more audience, let's say if we want to go international, so there's a technology barriers and language barriers. I think by applying the modern technology of a translation device, maybe we can counteract the language barriers. But for different software, this Weixin-based apps only can be accessed if using the WeChat. So we are thinking how to develop a web-based windows for international people to view our apps. And so for sustainability, we hope that these apps could also transform to a social enterprise by facilitating national and international educational tour to these rural communities, and in a way also to support the local community social enterprise. And the last is the mobilization mechanism has to be further considered to mobilize more stakeholders, the youth returned to the rural areas to produce more attractive, interesting content for wider audience, to have more viewers. So the last is a point I want to share with all of you is our feels about the community network through digitals. So when we started, internet was just an unseen line, linked you and me, despite whether we live in a different part of the world. When we found our common interest, internet is a bridge, connect us to see each other. So we embrace our commons and appreciate our differences. But later on, connection through internet become crossroads. We share our happiness and sadness of lives, but we also exchange our insights and learnings of our work for the sustainable living and healthy earth. And present, internet is a spider web. We are intertwined and cannot be separated. We have jointly built a common community, and in the future, this common community will be a platform. Internet will be the engine for us to imagine and nourish this platform continuously. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Lanying. I hope everybody was enthused with the presentation in a very different country context where internet connectivity, physical connectivity is no longer a challenge because that was part of the strategy for ending absolute poverty in China. So I think Sources for Action has shown what meaningful connectivity can mean in that context, that they actually help to build a gateway towards conserving and developing indigenous knowledge systems that the community themselves can utilize, but at the same time with an app, which they called Weixin app. That app is their window for sharing the knowledge they want to share and are ready to share to the outside world, together with, the products and services that the community can also share to the outside world, that can be bought by the outside world to assist also the local economy building in the community itself. So it's a very interesting model, I think, in a very different context. But we're happy that that the project was able to contribute to meaningful connectivity in a country that has already achieved, the elimination of absolute poverty, right? So thank you very much, Lanying. So our last presentation is about how internet connectivity assisted the coffee value chain in the Philippines. So our presenter is none other than the founder and chief executive officer of Bota Central and the Philippine Coffee Alliance. So without much ado, I'd like to call on Vi Reyes to make a presentation about their initiative in the coffee value chain. Go ahead, Vi.
Hello, good afternoon, good morning. My name is Vi. Okay, so slide one. So in the Philippines, the Philippines current coffee landscape, no, slide one first, please. Yeah. There is a growing number of community-based coffee enterprises, 52 of them from its inception since year 2010. The Philippine Coffee Alliance views these community-based coffee enterprises, which we shall call CBCEs for short, as an emerging coffee industry subsector employing the social enterprise framework linked to local economic development. The CBCE is a business model where the coffee farmers group is transformed to become the processor himself, the roaster, the retailer or wholesaler. They can also be a coffee shop located in urban, suburban, and also in remote rural areas where coffee grows nearby. The Philippine Coffee Alliance is a network organization of small coffee farmers and small coffee businessmen advocating and espousing the CBCE business model via technological interventions and value-adding strategies using the complete value chain approach. So what is IoT, or the Internet of Things? For those who are not knowledgeable yet, IoT refers to a vast network of physical objects embedded with sensors and software that enable them to collect and exchange data with minimal human intervention. These objects can include anything from phones and appliances to vehicles and even entire cities. They connect to the internet or interact via wireless networks, facilitating automation and data sharing across various applications. Next slide, please. CBCEs are mostly comprised of legally organized coffee clusters of farmers, women, and youth in select coffee-producing areas of the Philippines. For this pilot project, we have Kape Ifugao in Ifugao, Lagawi Ifugao, and Kasibu coffee growers in Nueva Vizcaya. The equipment and facility structure of the CBCEs come from grant subsidies from the Philippine government, primarily the Department of Agriculture. Other government agencies have also followed suit and are likewise giving these equipment facilities as grant subsidies, though not necessarily procuring the same roasting machines which we use for this model building project. The CBCEs are coffee roasting facilities which source its supply of green coffee beans directly from their own community and or nearby adjacent coffee producing communities. Next slide, please. The green coffee beans are roasted by the CPCEs, packed, and sold to both business, B2B, or business to consumers markets. The roasting machine used by the CBCEs is Filipino manufactured, awarded with an invention patent, and operates using an automatic roasting system for ease of use and shorter learning curve to roast, designed specifically for non-roast masters, such as the farmers, the women, and the youth in the coffee producing communities. Next slide, please. Some of the CBCEs have been sustaining and operating their enterprises for 14 years now. Remember that was way back 2010 and it's now 2024. CBCEs competitively process and buy green coffee beans to roast and sell their own community branded coffees. If the world market rate for buying Robusta green coffee bean is at 250 pesos per kilo, the CBCE can afford to pay higher than 250. For this project, we are working with two CBCEs, as mentioned earlier, the Ifugao and Cebu Nueva Vizcaya coffee growers, both located in the northern part of the Philippines, that is in Luzon. Next slide, please. In the 14 years of the CBE's presence in the coffee industry landscape, one may ask, how are these enterprises operating? How many kilos of coffee have the CBCEs roasted annually? How much is the inventory needed for the next harvest season, or for the next or for the last season? How much green coffee beans are processed by the CBCEs? Are they making profits enough to sustain or improve efficiencies in their operations? We are aware that most of the CBEs, if not all of the CBCEs, lack or have no proper financial statements or records to show. Next slide, please. So the community networks program supports this pilot modeling project, initiating moves to gather veritable data and information of the business operations of the CBCEs. The goal is to design and create the technical infrastructure required. In this case, the IoT/ICT systems, which is technically an upgrade feature for the roasting machine. And next slide, please. And the next goal is to build the appropriate approaches for these technological interventions of gathering data and information accessed over time to make them relevant and meaningful and useful for the CBCEs and the communities of coffee farmers. There were a lot of technical challenges. Next slide, please. To name a few, the human-machine interface and simple, easy to understand, and easy to navigate dashboard are critical for the user. Remember, the users would be the farmers, the women, and the youth in the coffee producing areas. Using Wi-Fi or wireless fidelity as an initial platform proved to be futile in remote rural areas. We switched then to LoRaWAN. We also found out that GSM is a more reliable connectivity for the purpose of transmitting and receiving data. Debugging the system every step of the way was very challenging. Easy access of inexpensive parts for maintenance and service should be considered as well. So we used LoRaWAN. Oh, what is LoRaWAN? LoRaWAN is a low power, wide area networking protocol designed to wirelessly connect battery or electricity operated things to the internet in regional, national, or global networks. LoRaWAN is well suited for wide area network applications that prioritize long range coverage, low power consumption, and scalability of data. Next slide, please. So with this IoT/ICT feature upgrade on the roasting machine, the authorized receiver of the CBCE will be able to receive info and data such as the login time of the roasting machine, or what time did the roaster start operating the machine, who is roasting, how many kilos of coffee was roasted for today, for the month, how much electricity was consumed, the roasting profile used, whether it was light, medium, dark, the species of coffee roasted, the job order number. Next slide, please. The roasting profile, the performance. It even gives a performance report for the machine. So the roasting machine now has two operating systems. One is roasting and the other is bookkeeping. It roasts coffee and bookkeeps for you at the same time. Next slide, please. We are actually just at the stage of taking the very first initial steps for building the infrastructure of the IoT and the ICT platform for the CBCEs. These smart systems exist already and are applied for in big corporations. However, this particular IoT/ICT system was designed primarily for community-based enterprises, which have no immediate access to digital systems and platforms, no access for education, the knowledge and skills, and could also be described as the digital divide. The primary proponent beneficiaries from this pilot modeling would be the CBCEs, the community-based coffee enterprises, for them to be digitally connected and empowered. We are confident, though, that the CBCEs are capable of maintaining the system, the IoT systems, on their own. Take note, the CBCEs can compete with the price war of buying green coffee beans at farm gate. Moreover, we would like this intervention to reach the coffee producing communities as direct suppliers of the green coffee beans and potential direct users of the data and information gathered by the IoT/ICT intervention using the community networks framework and principles. Next slide, please. As of today, we broke ground with the installation of the IoT/ICT for these CBCEs. Admittedly, we have no impact yet to show nor prove. First and foremost is for the CBCE to actually use the IoT system of collecting and transmitting data and information. Over time, we believe probably in 3 years' time, with sufficient data and information, we can show and keep track of trends and nuances which could affect the decisions of the industry stakeholders, such as the community-based coffee enterprise itself, the farmers as suppliers, government as the funder, and other private stakeholders who pursue this business model of CBCE. This is when we hope that this pilot model building initiative will show relevance and a positive response. The local coffee industry should benefit as a whole. I know, because sitting as a TWG in the government sector, data and information is very vital and critical in delivering their performance or in their mandate. And so as a private government sector or as a private sector player in the industry, I really hope that this data and information gathered by the CBCEs would be really helpful for the industry. That's all. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you very much, Vi. So there you have it, the fourth model in the coffee value chain. No? The Philippine Coffee Alliance is pioneering a community-based coffee enterprise system for bringing benefits to coffee farmers first and foremost, yeah, where big for big businesses only engage them as producer communities. They are actually engaging them to become not only producers, but processors and marketers of their own brands of coffee. And it is in that context that the IoT ICT system, which is in the long run going to provide a bookkeeping system relevant to farmers as well as the community-based coffee enterprises with the Philippine Coffee Alliance at the national level, can make an impact. No? But for now, I think the project has developed this IoT and ICT system at the level of PCA and 2 pilot CBCEs. Yeah. So there you have it. We have 4 different evolving models. As you can see, unlike the usual community connectivity initiative that sets up the infrastructure first and then seeks the relevant use of such connectivity to improve, operations, quality of life of communities, stakeholders, and other players, the community, the model building that we embarked on is directly linked to engaging social enterprises that are already working with marginalized communities so that they can meaningfully bring they can facilitate meaningful connectivity to improve the efficiency, productivity, incomes, and operations, towards building sustainable local economic development as a whole. And you saw that in 3 contexts, in the Philippines and Bangladesh, where connectivity is still a challenge in relation to the physical aspect, the engagements are about not only the physical connectivity, but also about capacity building. So to make that physical connectivity meaningful, in the coffee value chain, in the organic vegetable value chain, and in the crafts value chain. And in the case of China, we have seen how the indigenous knowledge system that is being conserved and developed is being aided by capacity building of the community to use digital technology for that purpose, and for the community to control the indigenous knowledge system to the point that they're able to define what they share to the outside world, and using the platform that they created also to sell products and to promote cultural events. Yeah. Anyway, now I think we're ready for an open forum, but before that, there's a request that we actually still do another photo opportunity. Could I please request everyone to open your videos again in order for us to get another shot at those who came late? So we have more than 50 in the call right now. And that's a good number for sustaining that throughout the 2 hours. So, Buds, go ahead.
Okay, everyone. We have 3 pages. First page, smile, everyone. 1, 2, 3, smile. Next page. 1, 2, 3, and smile. Okay, and last page, we have this one. 1, 2, 3, and smile. Thank you, everyone. You're in mute, ma'am, again.
I think we're now ready for the open forum. You can actually raise your hand if you want to ask a question, or you can also ask a question through the chat box. And maybe as a first opportunity for the question being raised, I think Kathy posted a question in the chat box that is worth asking so that we can actually share the discussion as well. Kathy, would you like to come in? Kathy Chokson. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone. So my question is actually, I'm interested to know the gender dimension in the, actually not only in COPA or PRM areas, no, but in all the SFA, the Philippine Coffee Alliance, and the Face Bangladesh as well. CN, the gender dimension. No? I want to know what are the roles of women in the CN's, the community network that you have implemented, and also what are the challenges and that, that are being faced by women to ensure that they are continually participate in the CNs and um, benefit from the engagement. Thank you very much.
Okay, so it was originally directed at PRRM. So Carla, would you like to answer the question? And then I will also ask the others to pitch in. This is an all-women panel, no, very powerful. And I think that's a very good first question for this kind of panel. Go ahead, Carla.
Yeah, thank you, Katina. As I replied and wrote in the text in our group chat, women in COPA, the Kayapa Producers Association, they are producers. They manage their farms. They sell. They do retail selling of their of their organic products. Particular to the community network project, they are the ones who are very active in community meetings. Lisa and Mia and I forgot her
Sylvia.
name from Sylvia can attest to that when we had our first meeting regarding the project, and most of those who attended were the women members of COPA, and up to the very late part of the project they were still very actively engaged in the meetings. When we have They are also hosts when we have visitors, like when Sarbani came to Kayapa. They received Sarbani. They were the ones who answered some questions. In fact, one young uh, woman farmer from Kayapa, a youth leader, is exactly that. She manages her own farm, their family farm. She does selling. She was trained under the Department of Agriculture as an organic farmer, and she pursues this passion of hers. And she's very active also in the youth association that PRM is reactivating at the moment, also as part of the SLEAN Asia initiative. They are not only concerned about the community network project in relation to their organic enterprises, but also in the needs of their own families, their children who go to school, their personal businesses, and they are very inquisitive about how the network can serve the other parts of their village, which are not at the moment reached yet by the network. The challenges they face, as part of Kathy's question, are in availing of training that would further build their skills or their knowledge about the network, about the community network, about the internet, and of course about social enterprise management. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you, Kathy.
Kai. Maybe we can ask also by Suhaili and Lanying to briefly share their take on the question. Maybe Vi, in relation to women, the role
Yes.
of women and challenges.
Yes, in relation to coffee and women, coffee, the value chain of coffee by default is actually women strong and women led, meaning from the time that from the time of planting, women are very strong. The presence of women is very strong. When well, there are statistics that there are more men in farming, but actually nowadays the women. Well, I am a farmer myself, so the women really play a big role in the value chain of coffee. So there is a deliberate and intentional commitment on our part as PCA, as Coffee Alliance, and as Bota Central for the women, or to be given more place, proper place in the value chain of coffee, to be more recognized, because from soil to cup, as they say, the women play the most value in the value chain. They don't only plant, they don't only process, they can also roast themselves, they can do the accounting, they can do the selling, They do the brewing of coffee, the bookkeeping as well. Well, not anymore nowadays with the IoT system, but hopefully, in the value chain of coffee, we would be able to have some more empowered women in the industry.
So Haley, thank you. Bye. So Haley, would you like to say something?
Yeah, it's similar for us, and we work with craft. So craft was essentially were done by the women, but there was no economic value in it. So when we started working, and they could see, oh, I can contribute, I can earn from the like whatever skills I have. So it's all about, I think, capacity building. So it wasn't challenging for us at all to include the women, because we work with the women-led cooperatives, and the craft is in women's hand. The interesting part is the designs we did with them actually added value. Then it was sold in the market. So it inspired them. I think it's all about encouraging, and we always talk about co-creating. It's quite important from the beginning when we co-create with people, and we can actually, both of us, I think it's not the community, it's also the architects or mobilize or the designers. We also get courage to work with them. So yeah, it was quite fantastic journey for us as well.
Thank you, Haley. Lanye?
Yes, I think our key partners and community level is social entrepreneurs who is women, and she had worked. She was migrant workers and work in different places, like in restaurant, in factories, and some kind of performance companies. But because her children, she returned to her village, and she initiated with the social enterprise of the Airbnb, but focusing also to educate their children in the village. And she believes that the children should receive a very well traditional culture education. So she play a critical role. She is the leader in the village. Even her husband is her followers initially, and then they work together to develop the rural communities. Yeah. So we do see women play a very important role in the community as the social entrepreneur, but also as an education, and also nurturing the family, kids education also. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you to our 4 women panelists. I think, Kathy, the gender program that we are developing could be evolved from a focus group discussion with these 4 women, right? So maybe for a succeeding session, you might want to get them engaged in a focus group discussion to have a more systematic program on gender and community connectivity initiatives. Yeah. Because of course, the women are there, they're really engaged, but giving attention to the specific issues that women face, I think, as well as the challenges that they face in community connectivity initiatives can be subject of further capacity building. All right, so I saw somebody raise his or her hand a while ago. I don't see that hand being raised anymore.
It's
Elisa.
Evita, Miss Lisa.
Yeah.
I beg your pardon?
It's Evita Jimenez Tuazon.
Okay. Can you come in, please?
Hello.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Yes. Hello. Good afternoon. I'm here in Bicol, and
Bicol, Philippines,
Bicol.
yeah?
Yes, Philippines, of
Yeah.
course. Philippines.
Go ahead.
Here in Bicol, and I'm so thankful that I came across your link. Actually, I was looking for Dr. Lisa Dakanay.
That's me.
Yeah, and look where I came. So I found the link and I registered immediately. So here I am. Okay, so I have a 5 p.m. meeting actually, but I have to wait and listen to the inputs a while ago. I'm also the chair of Tabang Bicol movement here, and I'm also a board chair of a maritime school.
Mm.
Camarines Sur. So being a maritime school, we are into rescue operations whenever there are floods and disasters that come around. So I'm a lady maritime, actually.
Okay.
I'm the board chair, and I'm also a columnist. So I make use of my media work in disaster response. Now, I really wanted to get in touch with Dr. Dakanay. I would not want to digress, no, from the topics.
Maybe we can first talk about
yeah.
your question or your comment. Yeah, about
this is
the topic. Yeah.
good chance. Yeah. I've been reading a lot of the studies of Dr. Dakanay, of course, on social enterprises. And may I share screen? Of course, I really have to show this, no?
Maybe
No more.
Evita,
Yeah.
maybe Evita, we can just get your question or comment.
Okay.
It might
It's
be
actually not a
difficult for us to
question, but
give
I'd
you.
like to,
theory.
we are going to hold a regional summit on social enterprises in Bicol that will be on October 25 to 26.
Yeah.
And this is actually a culmination of the 2-year project on social enterprises with the Commission on Higher Education, 2 years. And we have gathered a lot of lessons from the ground. And we have worked with thousands of social enterprises. So we are actually inviting, may I have this chance to invite Dr. Dakanay.
Yeah, we
to
can do
speak.
that maybe,
Yeah,
Evita.
please.
We can communicate later,
Okay,
but
thank you
maybe we
so
can
much.
focus on your question or comment
Yes,
related
okay.
to the
My
topic.
question is this, but I have a private message to you on the chat. Okay, you can go to that. My question is, we are into disaster response actually, and after every disaster, there are problems that arise, and one problem is about health and environment issues like dengue. The incidence of dengue actually is one great problem in Bicol. And one social enterprise that we were able to build and develop is to actually tap the resources around, like citronella, which has a very strong properties in mosquito repellent. So in short, the lessons that we were able to learn from the past 2 years is just to tap what are available in the communities. We don't have to go
Yeah,
around
so
and search for solutions.
Evita,
Yes.
maybe, yes. So in relation to the community-centered connectivity initiative, would you want to focus on that question?
Yes,
or
and
comment?
one particular development is the solarization of the social enterprise, meaning we were able to get a grant from the Department of Science and Technology and with the Department of Agriculture, where everyone now is able to access information and even disaster response needs through the solarized connectivity
Okay.
that we are able to make accessible to the communities that we work with. So in
Okay.
short, one particular, I think that is related to the forum is about the use of renewable energy, the solarization of social enterprises that we are actually promoting these days because of course we are a disaster-prone region, and we'd like to make use of the recycled resources that we have around. So I think the connectivity that we are using here is more on what is available, and that concerns the solar power that are now available in some communities that we work with. I think that it helps a lot by using solarized and to save on cost when it comes to building up and developing businesses in the communities.
Thank you, Evita. I think
Yeah, thank you.
was solar or any renewable energy sources used in the context of the social enterprises that were tackled today? Anyone? Because I think in relation to connectivity, actually access to electricity is a very important issue. And of course, in China, they do renewable energy sources, right? Lanying? Renewable energy is one of the main sources of electricity in China. Lanying?
Yeah.
Would you like to say something about that?
Oh,
Renewable
China-
energy and connectivity. But
renewable
anyway,
connectivity.
no, because I think other community-based connectivity initiatives have tapped into solar, water, and other renewable energy sources, because of course, internet connectivity can only be possible if there is a connection to
Oh.
power, yeah?
Electricity, yes.
Yeah, electricity. So thank you for that. That's a very important aspect, I think, unless the Vi or Suhaili, would you like to say something about renewable energy? And maybe Gomer, would you like to say something about renewable energy and internet connectivity with other community-centered connectivity initiatives? Because we saw that, I think, in India, we've seen community-centered connectivity initiatives in India using solar power also, and renewable energy sources. Anything else?
Can I say one word, Lita?
Okay, go
For
ahead,
the-
Lenying.
There's a project in China by applying the solar energy to generate electricity to sell it to the national grid, so that the income generated for that community. So there's a lot of promotions for solar and windmill, as long as the community has some place to install the solar panel, and the generated electricity sell to the national grid is the kind of income generation for the communities. But also for the biotechnology regeneration electricity also. So there's a circular economy promoted by the policy, which can really support the community.
Thank you, Lenying. All right. So any other question? Maybe we can ask our 4 speakers to also share with you what is your sustainability strategy in relation to your community-centered connectivity initiatives, because I think most of the initiatives are linked now to a specific operation of a social enterprise, right? But some of you explained that in the future, there might be an opportunity to develop a distinct social enterprise that could actually promote internet connectivity, right? Can you say something about that? Because I think one of the issues that we are grappling with is sustainability of our initiatives, right? So maybe Carla, you can start. Your
No,
piece of
but
Wi-Fi.
no,
Your
but I will. Yeah.
Go ahead.
My presentation earlier also talked about the piece of Wi-Fi or the retailing of the internet services to users in the community, like students and some of the women who have their own personal businesses. So in a previous month, the COPA earned about 8,000 pesos, or that's about 150 US dollars in 1 month. But I think that was a high one.
A windfall.
A windfall. In the succeeding months, they earned about 5,000, 3,000, sometimes 7. So a little less, but still they were earning from it. And it was enough to cover at least the monthly subscription fees.
For Starlink.
For Starlink, of the Starlink fee. So that was good. Apart from that, well, the organic business, they would like to, for one, in the immediate, earn savings from it, or just so they can reduce their expenses. And in the future, to expand this to other actors in the organic agriculture sector in the province that would benefit from database management, or from data collection on organic farmers and organic production in the province. That's one of the future possibilities.
So they're thinking of developing a social enterprise that would be promoting internet connectivity, yeah?
Yes,
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, and in terms of the social capital, there's already the participatory guarantee system in the province, which works on the organic sector and working with farmers in the province.
Okay. Thank you, Carla. Lanying, would you like to say something about just to emphasize the point regarding sustainability?
Yeah. So 2 points. One, we will build a strong partnership with traditional villages and support the community social enterprise further developed. And so the partnership with the community social enterprise. Second is a transformation of our apps to a social enterprise, which we can play a bridging role to facilitate studies and research on social enterprise development in China and the international exchange. So this study tour for international visitors and local visitors could be subsidized either by generating fees or by funding. So this will support the apps further to develop. Yeah, that's the major strategy. Yeah.
There's also that big dream about an agri-eco-cultural tourism social
Yes.
enterprise, right? Linking different communities who already have developed their indigenous knowledge systems and uploaded their cultural materials on the web, on the app, yeah?
Yes, that's
but
correct.
That's actually a dream of ISEA with SFA and the other partners.
Partners, yeah.
Thank you, Lanying. Bai, would you like to say something about sustainability?
Okay, regarding sustainability, well, I am confident that the community-based coffee enterprises would be able to sustain the system in the future with or without the project support. Why? Like say, for example, the Kape Ifugao CBCE that is one of the partners in this pilot project. If they are able to roast 10,000 kilos or 10 tons of coffee, probably even for a period of 2 months or 3 months, and if that equates to 600 pesos per kilo, that would equate to 6 million pesos income generation, and or 100,000 plus US dollars. There is one particular CBCE or community-based enterprise in south of south of the Philippines, that is in Sultan Kudarat. And this is the CBCE that would really want to have this IoT system, and they are actually waiting for it. They are doing actually 10 tons of coffee per month. And you can just imagine the volume of documents that they use. They actually use 14 documents just to monitor their operations. So the IoT system would really be a big help for them. And in the future, I would really want to see more CBCEs doing the digital platform or using the community networks framework. And we can all connect them together. And we can even connect some community-based coffee enterprises outside the Philippines. Probably.
Thank you, Bai. So Hailey?
Yeah. So regarding sustainability, things will sustain, if the communities can get benefit out of it. So social enterprise has its own power. It has a cash flow. So people are powerful, and the cooperatives we have worked with, they are the savings group. So they have their own savings, one. Another is when they sell a product, they have a collective profit in their cooperative. So that's a powerful thing because simultaneously they are building their own capital, and they're also seeing and also testing the benefit of having an internet, like how they can communicate with the designers and do things very promptly. So I think when community understand their benefit, so they will anyway continue. It will, roll out without us. So I think, they'll be actually doing it, and they are really doing it. And we have seen the faces of the women holding a tab, like she was so proud. And I think that is one of my best moments when I saw her like coming from the house with the tab, and she understood the importance of having this connectivity. So they are continually doing this with their savings and capitals. Yeah.
So we can actually see that where in value chains, the actors see the benefit of connecting with each other through the internet in order to improve their productivity, their efficiency, and their effectiveness as players in the value chain, they will, find a way of sustaining the cost of running or the cost of maintaining the system, the internet connectivity to as part of their operations, no? And I think what you're basically sharing is that because it's part of their more effective and efficient operations, they will sustain it as a social enterprise. But on the other hand, there are also indications that the internet connectivity initiatives that we are evolving and the content creation initiatives that we are evolving can themselves become standalone social enterprises, no? That can add value to local economic development in their own context. So thank you very much for that. Any other questions or comments? Actually, one of the major issues facing rural communities is aging farmers, right? And I think one of the common threads that I saw in the community-based connectivity initiatives is the engagement of youth. Yeah. So anyone would like to say anything about that?
Miss Donna is raising her hand.
Yeah. Maybe we can have someone answer the question first before I call on Donna. The role of youth. Maybe Lanying, the role of youth in the community connectivity initiative.
We do see the strengths of the youth. They are they know the modern technology, how to use various technology or device, or using that for communication or innovative production of materials, all these things. And but we also see the needs for the youth to improve. But the rural areas is a very good venue and platform for the youth to learn, because the rural village embedded with 1,000 years of evolution, and ecological wisdom and traditional culture are important component for the youth to grow, for them to determine what they really want to be. Yeah, so the rural areas is kind of an important place, and the youth can contribute, but most important, they can also learn, and learn to understand self, learn to understand the relationship with the nature, learn about importance of farming, agriculture. So it's really kind of a site for youth to grow. I think we see the needs for the youth. Youth should see that, so that they can go to the rural areas to play a role. So our approach is that really to create a space for them to play a role, but yet learning is important for them. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, Bai.
Yes, the youth would actually play a vital role in the IoT development, especially when we want to evolve and develop further. We will also be using Arduino. This is an open source platform, so that the youth will be able to improve further what has been developed for the communities and for the farmers. In fact, when we first approached the communities, the elders told us or informed us that this project is actually for the youth. It is no longer for our generation, since we don't understand what you're saying. But the youth would be very much interested to be part of the system and develop it further.
So Hailey, would you like to say anything?
No, nothing special. I really agree, and I think we should use our energy when there is energy in it. Like if youth has the energy, then we should go behind them. Like we should utilize whatever is energy lies in the community. We shouldn't try. Like the women needs to understand that if they don't want to, let's not push them. Let's work with the youth then. Yeah, and women they will come eventually because, and we have seen in many incidents, like when the women, the mothers can do it, the children come forward, say, oh, I can do it. I can do it for you, mama. So we have seen several youth groups in the community who were actively participating in the women cooperative to help them out, to take the photographs of the products and have their own pages. So if mothers are there, the children would anyway come. So we
Thank
should
you.
utilize this.
Thank you, Suhaili. Carla?
Yeah, Miss Donna was asking about how we were able to motivate the youth to participate. So in the Kayapa case, in Nueva
Carla, can
Vizcaya,
you put your mic
yeah.
near you? Yeah.
in the Kayapa case in Nueva Vizcaya, COPA had at least one woman farmer member. So we focused on her. We made sure that she attended the community meetings. And we also recruited her to the youth association that we're forming in PRRM, also to be part of the Sustainable Living Youth Network that we are working on with SFA also and a Thailand NGO. And in that youth movement, she recruited 5 more girls who are from her community and who are also starting to engage in organic farming. So I think that was one strategy that we did to motivate the youth. But also I agree with Suhaili in saying that and Lanying that the youth are the really more will be the ones who will be more adept with using and managing and maintaining and operating the community network. And but I in the Kayapa case, they at present they will still have to give support to their parents or grandparents who are
The
also
leaders.
farmers, COPA farmers and leaders. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Kai. Donna, what's your okay, so
Yes.
you've answered the question
Ah,
already?
Thank you, Miss Lisa. Um, I would like to express my gratitude, Mom Carla, to all our sharers. Um, yes, the youth has a great role, in community development, community network, um, particularly in your cases, in your experience, we have to admit the fact that the urban settlement and the rural experience has a big difference. But nonetheless, what you have shared opened our mind. No? Maybe this is an eye opener for us, Ma'am Lisa, no? That community enterprise and social entrepreneurship for the youth of urban settlement, particularly here in Metro Manila. The big challenge for us is the social media. Nonetheless, they are very, very exposed and they know everything about different platforms. So definitely they can do that, like what Miss V Reyes shared, and Miss Carla. But I think we have to really instill a value reformation or restoring the values of the youth in the urban settlement to be our partners, to be our young, the successor of our aging farmers, no? Ma'am Lisa, I think we really have to inject also the essence or the learning or the capacity building on youth entrepreneurship or social entrepreneurship and community network development toward social enterprise and poverty reduction, I think.
Thank
Thank
you,
you so
Donna.
much for the opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Donna. And of course, the youth can play a role in returning to their rural communities, right? But
Yes,
the
yes.
youth in the urban communities can also play a role. And we will be sharing in other sessions maybe how urban community-based connectivity initiatives have also evolved. Some of these community connectivity initiatives are actually in other regions like Africa. And maybe in another session, we can tackle the urban setting as you were talking about, Miss Donna. So anything else from the audience?
Thank you, Ma'am Lisa.
Thank you, Donna. I think we are about to close our session. And to close the session, I just like our 4 amazing women panelists to just share their last word in relation to the community connectivity initiative. What is their biggest lesson that you would like to share to a group that is interested maybe to also engage in the setting up of community connectivity initiatives? Anyone wants to, maybe just one insight that you would like to leave behind from the model building project? Just go ahead.
I'll go ahead.
Yes, go ahead.
Well, in the industry that I'm in, the coffee industry, there is really no data and information that we can rely on as an industry stakeholder. And this initiative of getting information and data from this community-based coffee enterprise, an emerging, as they say, an emerging industry subsector, that came from Doc Lisa, by the way, is very crucial, because if we show them some data and information it will be more relevant for all the stakeholders, especially when we do decision making. There is a lot of procurement going on by government, and I'd like to see more relevant procurement from government if we are able to show data and information that is very much needed.
Thank you, Vi. Thank you. So last words, Carla?
Yeah, for PRRM and for me personally, it was the newness of the community network project that made it a very exciting field to go into. So to all of you who are interested now, be more interested. And I also learned that there's a lot of online materials on this, and they were very helpful. But still, face-to-face and human interaction is important and is necessary. Thank you.
Thank you, Kai. So Haley?
Yeah, human interaction is necessary. I also agree with that. But we also need to adapt this change and the technology. And community network it's quite powerful in a sense that it's not powerful only to connect with the buyers or the markets. It's also powerful to connect with other communities, to see and connect with other communities. And so then we get more confident, because then we are a network of communities. We are not alone. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Suhaili. Last words, Lanying? You're muted, Lanying.
I feel as long as we deep rooted on the local communities, culture and knowledge, traditional knowledge, we found we can really benefit. All of us can grow, learn a lot. But more important, those knowledge heritage can be a very important foundation for the youth to develop social enterprise, which can flourish and support the rural communities, as well as for education of younger generations.
Okay. Thank you, Lanying. So I think we're ready to conclude this session. It's been a very fruitful learning session, sharing the insights and our experiences in implementing the model building of community networks linked to social enterprise and local economic development in 3 different country contexts: China, Philippines, and Bangladesh, and in 4 various value chains and economic subsectors, yeah, in organic vegetable value chain, in the coffee value chain, in the craft subsector, and also in the development of indigenous knowledge systems linked to the promotion of the sharing of rural to the urban communities, as well as the selling and sharing of cultural practices to the outside world in China, right? Thank you very much for your active participation. We shall be developing these 4 models, evolving models, into cases that we will be sharing with you. So we will also be, again, having another learning session. Maybe after 3 years, you will see the impact of the community connectivity initiatives as they have evolved over a period of time, and they will be showing impact in relation to how it has helped, you know, communities of farmers, communities of indigenous people, communities of crafts communities in the coming learning sessions in the future. Thank you very much, and see you again next time.